All right, everyone, welcome to another 5-minute book review. I'm in South Orange right now. We've got Cameron Field behind me, where actually Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig once played. South Orange Middle School in the background there, where I went to middle school, our duck pond, Floods Hill, our tennis courts, a lot of great stuff around here. Worth a visit if you've never been to South Orange. And it seems like a fitting place to do this next 5-minute book review. So this is Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me. This doesn't have a back cover on it, so I'm going to read the summary off my phone here. In a profound work that pivots from the biggest questions about American history and ideals to the most intimate concerns of a father and son, Coates offers a powerful new framework for understanding our nation's history and current crisis. Americans have built an empire on the idea of quote-unquote race, a falsehood that damages us all, but falls most heavily on the bodies of black women and men, bodies exploited through slavery and segregation, and today threatened, locked up, and murdered out of all proportion. What is it like to inhabit a black body and find a way to live within it? And how can we all honestly reckon with this fraught history and free ourselves from its burden? Between the World and Me is Ta-Nehisi Coates' attempt to answer these questions in a letter to his adolescent son. Coates shares with his son and readers the story of his awakening to the truth about his place in the world through a series of revelatory experiences, from Howard University to Civil War battlefields, from the south side of Chicago to Paris, from his childhood home to the living rooms of mothers whose children's lives were taken as American plunder. Beautifully woven from personal narrative, reimagined history, and fresh, emotionally charged reportage, Between the World and Me clearly illuminates the past, bracingly confronts our present, and offers a transcendent vision for a new way forward. So first of all, Coates is a really gifted, great writer. And so beyond any of the kind of more heavy things that I'll get to in a second, the book is a pleasure to read from just even a literary perspective. He is very good. Next is that regardless of your opinions about any of the policies about or that impact or related to race, which I'll come back to in a second, I think all of us can understand and appreciate the value in understanding other people's perspectives. And the perspectives that Coates shares in this book is one of many extremely valuable perspectives that I think we need to understand as Americans. And it's one that is often not as well or broadly told or understood. And it does so in, I think, one of the most relatable ways that we could imagine, which is a parent trying to help protect and guide their child in a world that they perceive as surrounded by danger and risk to them. I mean, I don't know, who can't empathize with a parent feeling that way about their child? And so, you know, I don't know if I'm the perfect person or the best person to talk about what books should or shouldn't be initial reads if you want to explore some of these concepts further, but I think it's fair to say that what Coates does in this book is offer a perspective that is invaluable for anybody and everybody out there. And third, from that broader policy perspective, I personally believe that there is a lot more that we can and should do to reconcile with our history in the United States. And this is not just about race, but is about so many other topics. I talk about this a lot in this podcast series, that we need to go back and understand and unpack some of our histories, not just as a nation, but as a species. And that we have to allow ourselves to understand the good and the bad and everything in between. And I think there's a lot of lessons and insights by exploring these concepts more deeply, including in this book, that apply to very real takeaways for how we live and what policies we do or don't want to see in our communities and our country around us right now. And as I also like to do, I'm going to share a couple quotes here. It's impossible to do kind of justice to this topic in 5 minutes, of course, but I did want to just share a couple quotes. I was made for the library, not the classroom. The classroom was a jail of other people's interests. The library was open, unending, free. One cannot at once claim to be superhuman and then plead mortal error. I propose to take our countrymen's claims of American exceptionalism seriously, which is to say, I propose subjecting our country to an exceptional moral standard. And lastly, the question is not whether Lincoln truly meant government of the people, but what our country has throughout its history taken the political term people to actually mean. So there is a powerful perspective and insights and lessons offered in Between the World and Me. If you haven't read it, I definitely suggest checking it out. And I would love to hear what you think about it. So please feel free to get in touch. And I hope you enjoyed this 5-minute book review. Hey everyone, Alex here. Thanks for joining me for this 5-minute book review. Hopefully I kept it close to 5 minutes. Now, if you're interested in exploring some of my other podcast episodes, part of Rethinking with Alex Torpy, you can check it out online at rethinkingwithalextorpy.com, on YouTube, Instagram TV, or wherever you listen to podcasts like Spotify, Stitcher, or Apple. If you like what you heard, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing with a friend, or leaving a positive review. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback, please feel free to reach out and get in touch. Thanks again.